Yes, and so we're actually back with Aurélien Perez. Welcome back. So Aurélien is, as we already know, is someone who works at the EU Commission and is here for the mission of cancer. And now, Aurélien, after we spoke before, you hadn't really experienced it yet, and now you've already started speaking to some of our participants, and you got to give a talk. So, how has it been?
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, this was a very interesting event, very enriching for me. I mean, we talk about many issues around cancer, many questions from the participants, so a lot of interest, many questions around prevention of cancer, which was very, very nice to hear because this is a very important aspect of the mission. A lot of interest also around information of citizens about cancer, awareness. This was also very interesting about quality of life of patients, of survivors, also families around cancer patients. No, really a lot of interest, a lot of also interest in synergies of network tackling cancer in isolation, which I think is a very good point. I also insisted a lot on this needs for synergies, to find synergies with other areas, with other missions as well. We spoke about the synergy with the cities mission, for example.
Oh, yes, yeah.
To sum up, I think a very positive event, very good exchanges, and a huge interest in joining our fight against cancer. So thank you very much.
Brilliant, yeah, and thank you so much. And we're very happy that we had you here. And just before you go, I'd like to see, has it kind of changed maybe what you're expecting, or is there anything that really excites you about it now? Maybe you're just even more excited than you were before?
Well, no, I'm living, your event with a very positive, very positively, because, I saw people highly interested, and I saw also, this is very important because these are young people, so young generation, and I really see the importance that they give to fight against cancer. When we spoke also a lot about childhood cancer, and they were very, very surprised about the figures, about numbers of kids affected by cancer. So really, this will to do more on cancer was clearly very strong, and so I'm very happy about this exchange, and I'm very confident that we have in this room a lot of brilliant researchers, and that they will come with brilliant ideas, very innovative ideas, and I think very importantly they will be able to think out of the box, which is I think what really we want. So very positive.
Great, well thank you very much for your time and your thoughts, and we'll be back soon, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
And we're back with another participant. We are here with Misha Gibson. Misha, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Misha is working on the mission adaptation to climate change. So, yeah. Misha, if you wouldn't mind maybe introducing yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for invitation. My name is Misha. I'm from Israel. I'm doing PhD in Ariel University. My focus is behavioral political economy, and I'm trying to look to the political roles of entrepreneurship in theoretical way and empirical. But I came to this field from practice because I had my own companies. I had many projects. I did events. I was crowdfunding, producing expert, and after that I came to the academy, like in behavioral science, in the behavioral economics, and I combined my practical understanding and knowledge with academic discoveries, and library of my alma mater took me more deeper, and for now I'm making a PhD, you know, and I can't stop.
Yeah, always looking for more. Yeah. Great. And I know a little bit about you from your bio, but I see that you are very interested in making green principles profitable and open for everyone. And is that maybe, did that kind of push you towards wanting to do the EU TalentOn?
Yeah, and you know, it's for economists, it's always big problem between profitable and ideological projects. And for rational understanding, it's more easy to make something profitable, and people should behave rational. But we live in society, and this is more complex, and we need to develop our ecosystem, infrastructure, circumstances for entrepreneurship and for our societies that became more sustainable. And it's always problems that someone can not join to these norms. Yeah, and for some of them it's not profitable, and everyone will be in this way only if it's profitable, if it's work. Yeah, and we're saying in economic equilibrium, and we should find how to make it effective and find this equilibrium for end business and customers and for government. Yeah. And this is why I'm studying PhD, because to think with critical thinking to this problem, because from inside, when you're an entrepreneur or when you just man who writing some policies, that's not enough. You should have opportunity to think outside the room, you know?
Yes, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
And I'd actually like to, before we go, I'd like to maybe focus on something you said a bit earlier, that you've started your own business. I know that you have produced music events and festivals and different things. So can you tell me a little bit about, first of all, how you kind of went into that, and also how you use this sort of side of, as you said, making projects to now work towards maybe to complement your PhD?
When I'm meeting some PhDs like me, I'm always saying that, you know, I'm not so good psychologist, I'm not so good economist, but if you need something to organize, I'm here. Yeah. That's true, because I have more years of experience in practice than academia. And in social sciences, we have a problem that scholars working very independent, like in very, very small teams. But today, if you want to make something useful, meaningful, you need a big. For example, some experts in data analysis, social scientists, I don't know, economists, and combine all this knowledge to make something big. And we see this is, for example, in economical anthropology, and like hundreds years of research and blah blah blah. And that's all. And but next problem for me. What is useful from your job, you know? And for example, citizen of European Union can ask universities, we paying taxes, you get some money for your research, and what results I have? Yes, it's a normal question. And it's not mean that professors should answer to them, because science live in a specific bubble, and pure science not practicable. But the result should be.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And this is always the problem. And the most useful projects makes always young people. And I think such event change the rules, because when you came into regular scientific conference, what happens there? People just speaking about the papers.
Yes.
My paper, your paper, that's all. Even not speaking about the field, about the policy of journals, about the opportunities of real big collaborations. It's just talking about the papers. And that's good for develop papers, but not good for develop the field and develop society. And it's the best way to make not only multidisciplinary but transdisciplinary connections for young scientists, and give them opportunity to make projects together.
Yeah, definitely. That's everything. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us, and I wish you the very best for the rest of the next 2 days.
Yeah, thank you for your invitation.
Oh,
good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll be back soon with another interview. Bye.
Come up with a solution that the world has never seen before. So we're setting the bar relatively high. So we need to apply this type of mindset, right, and this type of methodology to connect things that we usually haven't connected before, to look at deep research, to think harder and work harder than anyone has ever done before, to come up with some of these ideas. Are you creative? Yes? Yes? That's good. Is creativity, is that based on genetics or is it a skill? Skill. Genetics. Right, some might argue that a Mozart was particularly gifted in his ability to be creative on the piano and understand music, right? And you have athletes and you have musicians and artists that just are born with a unique ability. But for the most part, and for all the rest of us who are not born with that ability, it is a skill, right? It's a muscle, it's something you can train, you can practice, and you will get better at it once you start looking at yourself as a creative human being, and have some of that creative confidence to believe that you can actually have good ideas, and you start training it, and the more you do it, the more you will learn how to come up with ideas, and all of a sudden you will find yourselves being more and more creative. And every time you take a shower, and every time you wake up in the morning, there'll be like new ideas popping into your heads, and you'll be running out of paper trying to write them all down. How do you get your best ideas? Bless you. Yeah, you have a lot of bad ideas? Good, but how do you get your best ideas? Like, have you found that you have a specific practice that you use when you really need to solve a hard problem in your own life?
Waiting for the next day.
What is that? Talking about the idea to a lot of people and getting different input, or like a specific like brainstorming session works well for you?
Good. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Andrea Ancona, who's all the way from Rome, Italy, with us. And Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and what brought you here to the TalentOn in Leiden?
Thanks a lot for inviting me in this interview. I'm from Italy, specifically from Rome. I'm a second-year PhD student in economics. Mainly, I develop my research projects on innovation, investigating innovation ecosystems and collaborative R&D. This is my main research field. But of course, I'm really curious and interested in many other things. So I really appreciate to be here, because I actually had the opportunity to meet very diverse people, a very friendly and heterogeneous environment with other guys and girls coming from different countries, different backgrounds, different mindsets actually, and this is something that I think will really enrich me. So this is the main reason why I decided to apply for the EU TalentOn.
Very good. You already say some very nice things about the work dynamics in the group you're working in. You're working in the team adaptation to climate change. Can you tell a little bit about the things that you've been achieving so far and the things you've been working on?
Yeah. So as you sum it up, we are in the first mission arena, so the adaptation to climate change. You know, all the mission arenas are quite connected among them to each other. So an adaptation arena is the most broad one, the broadest one. We are trying to develop. At first, we started trying to understand what could our role be in a team. So trying to at first be empathic among us, between each other, and trying to not fix roles, because we know that roles can change during the development of the projects, but at least to fix our expectations on the projects, to fix our main contribution that we'll will provide to the team. And I think I'm really happy, of course, of the other guys that are collaborating with me. Even the body, I think this is a very value added to the group. So until this moment, we followed the suggestion by Henrik. So we focused on the identification of the problem. So, you know, adaptation to climate change is something really, once again, really broad. So we are trying to focusing on something specific and then going down to the customer segment we want to serve or to serve, and then trying to figure out the idea. We know that the time is relatively short, so we'll try to not to rush, but to be actually efficient in the time management.
Yeah, and you talk already about identifying the problem. Can you maybe summarize in one or two sentences what is the problem that you are focusing on?
Actually, I don't know if it is unconventional, but we identify a lot of problems, such as, I don't know, the rising sea levels, the increasing of the global temperature, droughts, the increasing of droughts. But we are trying to understand. We also know that this is a kind of, we call it the era of viruses. And we all know that the COVID-19 actually, but even other, I hope not, but maybe yes, pandemic may happen actually in the future. And they are due to the conditions of the environment. So both causing problems to different inhabitants of the world that are mainly animals. And so they actually, these kind of issues had then an impact on our living conditions, and of course even on the increasing of the circulation of viruses. So we are trying to find a link, and then going much more in detail. Of course, this is general. Try to find a link to the how to adapt to climate change in a way that we are also aware that it can be cause of the reason of the spread of other pandemic. Actually, not pandemic. I hope not, but of course it may happen, or other viruses. Yeah.
Yeah. And then as a final question, what would be the most valuable thing you take away from this event and this experience here?
Okay, just one, because you know.
You can mention many if you want.
Yeah. I think there are many, of course. At first, for example, we have just attended a lecture by Federico Porra, that is a EU policy officer working on the adaptation to climate change mission of Horizon Europe, and I think very many lessons learned from him. And I think this is something that we all need, because we mainly everybody here comes from the academia, so from the mainly university. I'm a PhD student, someone else is a master student, but mainly PhDs. And very often there is the risk that research is not so linked with the societal needs. We do research just for publishing sometimes, and I think it's not positive. But I look at the final paper as an outcome of research. But your main purpose should not be publishing, should be giving a real contribution. So trying to solve something really impactful on the society. And this is the reason why I think with, of course, all the experiences that I can draw from my colleagues. So trying to network as much as possible with everybody. I think really I can bring back to Rome and feeling really stronger, but even more mature, I will say. So really happy, and in the end, as you understood, this was a greatest experience, and I hope that until this moment, and it's just the first day, so you can imagine that at the end it will be even better. So thank you so much.
Thank you also, Andrea, for this very nice interview, this nice summary, and all these wise lessons that many people should hopefully take note of. Thank you very much, and we will be back soon with the next interview.
Thank you.
So if we're trying to come up with breakthrough innovations, they actually have to seem bad to most people when you're telling them about it. Like if every time you talk to a new person, they're like, oh yeah, we should totally do that, then it's probably too obvious. It's probably not that cutting edge. Right? The cutting edge ideas are those that seem bad to a lot of people until they really get it. Those could be the best ideas. Right? If you look at something, for example, like an Airbnb, right? Was that a good idea to begin with? Like, what happened when those guys, they pitched some of the, like 40 of the top VCs in Silicon Valley with Airbnb, and they got 40 no's. Right? Because every time it was like, oh yeah, and then when you're on vacation, you should have some strangers come stay in your bedroom, in your sheets, right? That seems like a really terrible idea. And when you're on vacation with your family, you can stay in somebody else's dirty house. Like, it just seems like a terrible idea, but it works, right? And today, what is the valuation of Airbnb, you think? A few billion? Yeah. 300 million? Right? Try 60 billion. Right? So largest real estate, or like the largest hotel or accommodation provider in the world, but they don't own any real estate. But they managed to create a platform where it's infinitely easier and infinitely more scalable. We'll talk about business models later today. To add an extra room, right? What does Hilton have to do if they want to add an extra room? Build another building, right? Or at least add on to the existing buildings. But what does Airbnb do? They spent $10 on advertisement for homeowners in Chicago, and all of a sudden, boom, they have new listings, right? So it's infinitely more scalable. That's what can create a lot of value. There we go. Good. So don't be discouraged if people don't get your idea right away. It might be because you're on the path to something brilliant, or it might be a really bad idea. But the point is, we need a lot of ideas to eventually have a good idea. So come up with a lot of good ideas first. So some people tend to...
And we are back with another participant. Welcome, Gizam.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my
really
pleasure.
Happy to have a chat with you. Gizam is working on the mission Cancer. So Gizam, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. So I'm Gizem. I'm from Turkey and I'm 22 years old and I just started my master's degree.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And I'm working on material science and how to develop new ways for cancer treatments using the new materials that we have.
And what made you interested in this area of study?
It's a little bit personal because I had family members diagnosed with cancer, and I also saw that it affected so many people's lives. So it had this emotional aspect of it, but also it was a new field in the material science thing. It was new, it was exciting, and I saw that as a new graduate, I can contribute to the field, and that made me excited.
Yeah, great. Really making a difference to society as well.
Yeah.
And I also know that you're interested in these out-of-the-box ideas, and I think that's why we're here really at TalentOn, EU TalentOn as well, to really think about new ways to approach new problems. What do you think the importance is to approach societal issues from this perspective?
So sometimes people call me weird. Like they tell me that, oh, I never thought about this way, or like, are you weird? Why are you thinking like this? But I think that if we all think the same way, we have all the same solutions. But we already have these solutions. So what we need to challenge ourselves, to me, the society's expectations, maybe we need to approach in a different way and not to be afraid of being weird, I think.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Let's not be afraid of being weird.
Yes.
And finally, I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about the dynamics of your team. So you're working on a team for the action for the Mission Cancer. So how are you kind of splitting up the roles and how is it working? How is your team working together?
Like it's a still learning process.
Of course, yeah.
Because we are like 4 different people from 4 different backgrounds. So we are still like navigating through these dynamics. But I think we have a good synergy, let's say.
Yeah.
And we understand each other and we listen to each other very well. I think that's something we do good. Like we don't have like, okay, this is our leader, this is your job. Not that well defined maybe.
Yeah.
But it's good that there is an open space to share ideas.
Yes, very much. Well, that's everything. Thank you so much.
Thank
really,
you.
We really enjoyed listening to what you had to say. And I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the few days. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll be back soon with another interview.
News or diving into different research articles and things like that, he will just like try to figure out what are different trends that are happening right now in society, in terms of regulatory policy, in terms of problems around the world, but also in terms of technological advancements. What can I do today that I couldn't do yesterday? Right? And there's a lot of these, as we talked about, a lot of exponential tech trends now that would enable us to come up with scalable solutions to some of the problems you're working on in ways where it wasn't possible 2 years or 5 years ago. And that's why bright young minds, future entrepreneurs can come up with these disruptive solutions that will be better than what existing multi-billion-dollar companies are doing today. So think about social, location, and mobile, right? Some of these overarching trends. We have social networks that are empowered by mobile phones and location-based technologies. We know where everyone is at all times. Something like the sharing economy. Right? Instead of you having to own your own device or own your own assets at home, many of those can be shared, just like an Airbnb. But also, why are we not sharing a lawnmower? We use it once a week. Why do we all need to have power tools at home? Like simple things like that. But it's just this overconsumption. If we had more of a sharing mentality, that could really have a massive impact. Artificial intelligence and machine learning, how can that be applied to understand data and to aggregate things in your specific mission arena? Advanced robotics have become a lot more intuitive and exponentially more affordable, right? It used to cost $500,000 for this type of Baxter robot, but now it's down to like 20K, right? Or probably even less today, right? So it's 23 times cheaper in just 5 years. So if we look at drone technology for observation in waters, or over lunch here, we're talking about these illegal dump sites for garbage. Maybe we can have drones or satellite imagery that we can recognize and we can scan things, and they just cost a fraction of what it used to cost for these types of technologies. 3D printing, we can print in all different types of materials. A friend of mine had his first part printed on the space station, right? It makes a lot of sense to print spare parts on the space station instead of sending them up. So today it's also a lot more affordable, a lot more effective than other types of manufacturing, at least in the beginning. Internet of Things, all our different devices are getting connected. We have added sensors. We can utilize that data in all kinds of intelligent ways. For example, with thermostats, obviously, that you're probably all familiar with at this point, with Nest thermostats. But in many other ways in our lives, right? These smart meters, smart grid, safety, security, connected home, building automation. There's so many ways of utilizing sensor technology compared to IoT devices, certainly in terms of health and well-being. Quantified self is a big movement around these effective sensors for our bodies. Think about augmented reality and virtual reality. Augmented reality, where you just have your own mobile device and you can add an extra layer to what you're seeing, could be used to create a game where people understand the impact of trash in nature, or getting people motivated to actually do things like that. Virtual reality offers a bunch of different interesting opportunities, and we're just starting to see the very beginning of this, right? These technologies are definitely evolving at an exponential rate, and we're going to see so many more applications. could very well be a technology that you can apply somehow. Yeah, we see Pokemon Go was one of the first really successful. Any Pokemon Go fans? Nobody wants to admit it. A few people. Good. Awesome. 5 Pokemon Go players. Yeah, I saw some great ones right around the corner down here. Okay, so gamification. Are we familiar with that concept? How many gamers do we have in the room? Fair amount of gamers. What is it that makes games fun?
Good, welcome back. We're here with Martien Balinger. And Martien, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself, about your background, and what brought you here to the TalentOn?
Cool, okay. So I'm from the UK, from London, and have been studying biochemistry originally. I did my PhD in Germany, in Heidelberg. Also with the EMBL, which is also a European-wide organization. So I think I was already starting there to think about and see how important it is to have people from lots of different backgrounds, how exciting and innovative ideas you can come up with when you're in such a mixed and diverse group. And while I was there, I became a lot more interested in climate change and kind of the urgency of this problem and how quickly we need to be addressing issues there. So from there, I then I did my PhD with microfluidics, which is basically handling small volumes of liquid to perform experiments in as precise and as resource minimal way as possible, basically. And I'm now trying to implement those same tools, but for climate relevant metabolic engineering in Marburg at the Max Planck Institute there. And although I find the lab is really exciting and there's a lot of very, very cool solutions that are being discussed, I'm kind of always a little frustrated at how slow things go, or at least how the connection between academia and kind of real world impact connects. I think this is something that I wanted to learn a lot more about, how we could take ideas from the lab and actually really get them into the world to address these urgent issues as quickly as possible. Which is why I joined this, because I think this seems like a perfect opportunity to find out about more entrepreneurial skills and transfer of technologies out.
Good, thank you very much. And you're working the soil deal for Europe Group. How's that going so far, developing this entrepreneurial mindset to bring research closer to society?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think there's a lot of different bases that could be covered with this topic, and we're kind of still in the process of trying to work out where we can possibly offer something, because I think soil is one of these things that gets easily overlooked. So we do have a few agronomists and people who are studying really farming and agriculture, and then a bunch of us that have nothing to do with this and just find it an interesting topic, have been involved in local gardening projects or whatever, and started to see the kinds of issues that can build up. And so I think we're kind of still trying to pinpoint how we can kind of bring those ideas together and direct ourselves towards using our own expertise for scalable.
What's currently the biggest challenge in that regard? You already mentioned there are some economists in there, and there are some other different backgrounds. What's currently the challenge that you're trying to overcome within your group?
So I think, for me at least, I'm very interested in all of these kind of degrowth and not kind of super capitalistic approaches to solving issues. And I think the part of the approach here is about building business, because that is, the society we live in, is that businesses are the groups where they're able to have the biggest impact in the world. And for me, it's very interesting to try and work out how you can involve business and get funding without turning it into something that is purely driven by the money. I think it's very important that the best solutions should be benefiting as many people as possible, and it shouldn't be the kind of very classic capitalistic approach in which small groups of people with initial power are able to gather more power in one place. I think the work that we do should be about distributing power and benefit for as many people as possible. And I think this is always an interesting balance when there's money involved.
Great to hear. I completely agree on these points, by the way. What's so far the best experience that you have here at this TalentOn?
Difficult to say. I mean, I think we're still quite in early days, so I'm kind of looking forward to, I think the best is still ahead of us, to be honest, because so far we've just been ruling a few things out, I would say. I think, it's just really nice to get some input from experts. We have a buddy who's got a lot of experience in logistics and therefore a lot of kind of calculations and predictive work, and this is something that I would never have had any experience with. I think it's really cool that we have people from such different backgrounds. So we have one guy who spends a lot of time talking to farmers and knows really what their lives are like, which for me as a Londoner and having since lived in big cities, I have no concept of this. And I think that's really cool that we have such a diverse group of people here.
Absolutely. And what is finally what's the thing that you hope to take away from this back to Marburg, where you will continue, of course, your daily life?
Difficult to say at the moment. I think context is really interesting. I hope that we really get to implement something that we come away with here, or at least kind of offer each other something useful to take forward. But I think also for me, it's very interesting to understand like what kind of structures are out there, what kind of other jobs, because I'm looking to transition out of academia at some point. I think there's often a lot of different jobs and a lot of requirements that we just don't know about if you've always done the same job for a long time. There's a lot of stuff that you're just not aware about. And I hope to find out about different kind of roles that are needed in various industries.
Good.
So,
Thank you very much, Martien, for this very nice interview. And that concludes this interview, and we'll be back with you shortly with a next very talented young scientist.
Cluster them into different overall topics. Let's try to see if there are some common topics. Maybe we can merge some of these ideas. Don't just merge every idea into one. It's not going to work, right? Remember, less is more. You are a scrappy little team. You can only do one thing really well for one group of customers. So less is more. But some of them might be able to merge or combine, or in other ways, like figure it out. So you get an overview of all the ideas, and then ultimately you need to pick one core concept that will turn into a brilliant new venture or science concept or collaboration or whatever it might be. Just to clarify, I know I talk a lot about startups and entrepreneurship, but of course the outcome here, the TalentOn, does not have to be in the form of a new startup venture. It can be take many different shapes and forms. So as long as it's impacting the greater mission that you are addressing, it's totally fine. It can take many different shapes and forms. Okay, so here you can select into different topics. There is another template for this you can use if you want. You can add different axes as well, but one of them that's important is value, right? And who defines value? The customer or the user that you have in mind, right? So from a user's perspective, how valuable would this solution be for that person? Would it dramatically impact their lives in a positive way, or would it be like, meh, sort of nice to have? And then level of uniqueness, right? This is one of the axes that the judges are going to look at. Like, does this stand out compared to existing concepts? So then you have these different quadrants, and you can use that just to map it out. It doesn't have to be the idea that's the most valuable and most unique, but you probably don't want to be over here with low value and low uniqueness. Okay, so the overall steps, and this is the last slide. Step number 1, revisit the problem statement. Make sure that everyone is aligned around that problem statement. How can we help X specific users solve X specific problem? Try to get it approved by your mission manager before moving on, ideally. Then you start with a silent brainstorming. Give yourselves 5 or 10 minutes. And then you can do group brainstorming, where each person brings his or her good ideas up, and you just plaster a wall, and each person you take turns explaining all the ideas that you have, and while the other people think about that and add new ideas to it. Reverse brainstorming is fun to try, and then you sort and select the best ideas. You can do rapid research, as I mentioned before. Maybe let's take 10 minutes and each of us find relevant trends or relevant historical data, or whatever other companies doing similar things. Also, when you've selected the top ideas, or the top one idea you want to work on, do some research and figure out, does this already exist? Right? And if it already exists, don't be discouraged. There are a lot of competitors, there are a lot of companies doing other things to try to mitigate these challenges out there. If there is a competitor, it means that there's a market, and there are other people doing it in some way or form. You just need to out-innovate what they're doing. Right? So we don't want to be doing the same. One of the criteria is that it has to stand out from existing solutions, but it's not necessarily a bad sign if somebody else is doing something similar. It means that they're able to do it, so there's a need, and there's a market that's already proven. And then you select your best idea and you start conceptualizing that. And once you get to this point, if you get to that point faster than what we've estimated before 5 o'clock, you let us know and we can start working on business models. But otherwise, just take your time going through the steps. Really important to spend a lot of time just generating ideas before we get into sorting and selecting. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you now. Any questions? Yes? How can we come up with an idea that the world has never seen before and also not get discouraged when we find out that that same idea, exact same idea already exists? Right, so that would be a bit discouraging. But you can use that as a springboard to then come up with something even better, right? But yeah, they have to be unique ideas, but they don't have to completely, they have to stand out, but it can be along the same lines of what other people are doing. Like there's already ocean cleanup projects, but if you find a way to do it 10 times better, that's still a unique and valuable idea, right? But start to think about this. It's not about 10%, it's 10x. Okay, we're looking for 10x better than what already exists. So, any other questions? All right, friends, let's get to work. Good luck.
Hi everybody and welcome to EU TalentOn TV. I am very lucky to have with me here a very special guest, Annika Otto. Welcome, Annika.
Thank you so much.
Annika is the president of Leiden University Executive Board and also the supervisory board of Plant. So yes, again, welcome. First of all, I have a few questions for you. How does it feel to have an event like EU TalentOn both in Leiden and also at Plant?
Well, of course, it's a unique opportunity to see how many talents we have throughout Europe. And of course, we are very proud as European City of Science and of course Leiden City to see this first ever EU TalentOn. So we are very pleased to meet all those young scientists and see what they're going to come up with.
Yeah, it's great to have them all coming together here at Leiden. And our participants are going to be trying to solve problems that are related to 5 different missions that we have. Is there a mission area that you are most curious about that our participants will be tackling today and tomorrow?
Well, that's an easy answer for me personally, because climate change, I think, is one of the biggest challenges, together with many others, of course, we have at the moment. And there's so much knowledge and innovation taking place, and I think hopefully we can bring that all together in those days and see how the young scientists come up with solutions. So yes, that's my personal favorite. Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, then moving on from that, so we talked about bringing scientists, young scientists together here, talent from all over the world, sharing, collaborating, sharing ideas and working towards fixing societal issues. Why does this sort of format of collaboration and hackathon sort of format work for these sort of event, for these sort of trying to fix these problems, in your opinion?
Well, we're actually here at the moment at Plant, our entrepreneurial location, together with all our partners here in the city Leiden. And we're creating an atmosphere where young people can really try to find sort of entrepreneurship skills or working in teams together, and not only from their own expertise, but building expertise throughout different disciplinary skills. And I think we learn them, then bringing that together will really find solutions for more complex problems than just from one perspective. So I think that's what we also learned this morning. And we really hope that we can bring this vibrant atmosphere from plant also to those young European scientists. Yes.
Great. And before you go, I'd like to just ask you, is there anything you'd like to say to our participants to help them on their journey over the next few days?
I would say just dive into it and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Anitje, for joining us. Thank you.
already you were finding your conversations, it's like this, how can we help research adults be more engaged in cancer prevention? Yeah, that's sounds like it's a problem statement, and it was also my task to say yes, it's approved. To get more, so could you give a broader explanation to this problem statement?
Good. Welcome everyone. We're back here with Nicholas Rice. Nicholas, why don't you tell something about your background and who you are and what's your background?
Thanks for welcoming here. I am a physicist by training. I work currently as a PhD student at the Complexity Science Hub in Vienna, which means we are basically focusing on complex systems, complex networks, also very much outside of physics, so very different applications. Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine that has many applications also with climate neutral cities and smart cities. Can you tell a little bit about what brought you here to this TalentOn and what do you hope to achieve here?
Yes, so I am currently towards the end of my PhD, and at the Complexity Science Hub I met many great minds, many great scientists from different fields, and I was always fascinated by the great ideas that are found in science, and it inspired me kind of to look for application cases for that, to look for something where these great findings of science can be translated into something that can be applied and have kind of a benefit for society. So I found this program, and I thought it's actually a really cool opportunity to do that, because it's precisely what I imagined this to be about, to focus on these mission areas that have a great benefit for all European citizens, and kind of work together with other scientists, find solutions and try to translate them into applications. That's basically what motivated me.
Very good. So you're currently in the work group Smart Cities and Climate Neutral Cities. Have you already been able to transfer some of your complex system knowledge into this work group?
I think right now we're still at the stage of narrowing down and defining a problem. So we don't want to go too deep into potential solutions yet, because it might kind of narrow too much. Yeah, I think we already kind of found this topic of waste, of reusing waste. So oftentimes something that is thrown away by people still has value and could be used by someone else. But the problem is just how to first get the knowledge that there is something that you could reuse, and second, give it to the people or the logistics of the problem, like how do you distribute it such that the people that actually want to use it get it.
Yeah, you say that you don't want to move towards a solution too early, but can you maybe already give us a tip of the iceberg, how you think that this can be, at least how you can come to a solution in the coming days, or to at least the project definition?
We don't know yet, we're still brainstorming. I think potentially we're thinking in the direction of some kind of platform that facilitates information exchange, where people could post information at like something, hey, I have this bag of clothes from a child that I don't need anymore because my child has grown out of this, and does anyone else need it? Because I don't want to throw it away, someone else might have a child that perfectly fits the clothes, so we're kind of thinking into facilitating this kind of transfer.
Yeah, very cool. What's so far your best experience that you had here at the TalentOn?
Many great experiences so far, I must say. It's really well organized and great people here. I like very much connecting to other scientists that have potentially a different background, a different point of view, but we all have the same goal. So it's a really nice exchange that really enriches the way of thinking also. Yeah.
And what do you hope to take out of this TalentOn back to daily life in Vienna?
I think mostly these connections to my fellow scientists from here, and also this spirit and motivation to translate our research findings into applications that make sense and that have a positive impact.
Good,
Yeah.
Nicholas, thank you very much. That was the interview with Nicholas Reis, and we'll be back shortly with you with other young talents from Europe.
Welcome back, everybody, to EU TalentOn TV. I have two more guests with me, and our first one is Chiara. Welcome, Chiara.
Hello,
you for joining us. Chiara is working on the mission adaptation to climate change. So, Chiara, if you wouldn't mind, maybe just introducing yourself, telling us a bit about you.
Sure, okay. Well, I'm Chiara. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Italy. So I lived in Italy until I was 20. Then I went to Mexico City to study earth and environmental science. And after that, I came back to Europe, where I studied sustainable development at the KU Leuven in Belgium, where I work with women empowerment in a local community in the northern of Peru.
Brilliant. Yeah. And what, so focusing on your work with women's empowerment and also empowerment of other marginalized communities, what kind of projects are you doing that kind of work with this empowerment?
Well, okay. Well, right now I finished my master, yes. But yeah, my thesis. In my thesis, we try to characterize women empowerment. So we didn't have a definition of empowerment, but we wanted to understand how women see empowerment and how they perceive their empowerment and their ability to act in this local community where. Well, it's in Chaparrí, a local community in the northern of Peru, and they're working, they have a conservation area. Okay. So we wanted to understand how this status of protected area enables or not empowerment in local women, because it's a rural community, so that's also an issue to bring. Yeah.
Brilliant. So really bringing both a few kind of areas of, I suppose, of the missions as well that we're focusing on together. So very interesting. And you said you're starting a PhD as well?
Yes, yes. I will start a PhD. I'm actually applying to a PhD, and well, I will try to bring create a collaboration between my university in Mexico and my university in Bilbao in Spain. And my idea is to work on a project in Mexico City, a social regeneration of a river. There's already a project going there with my future supervisor, hopefully, there. And we're also gonna work with the local communities and local empowerment. Yeah.
And a question on this as well. What do you think is kind of the importance of people in research, both in science but in lots of different areas, to work with local communities if they are working on a project, let's say in an area, for both empowerment but also just empowerment for the local people?
Yeah, I think what is important when you work with the local communities is that it's not one direction knowledge, the one you develop, but it's more of a two-directional and a co-creational knowledge. So it's not you scientists bringing something to the community, but it's building something together. Yep. So that's also why we need to characterize women empowerment, for example, in Chaparrí in Peru, because we really want to know how can we be helpful for that community. Yes. And it's not imposing something, but rather building together so that they can actually take advantage of our work, because it's not us taking advantage, but it's building together and creating something, co-creating knowledge and share knowledge.
Yeah. I think that's a really important point. It's all about this conversation, this two-way that everybody can bring something, and then together we can build and make things a lot better. And I think that also is what we're trying to do here with the TalentOn. Yes. We're bringing lots of people together to work. And so I also want to ask you, finally, what are you hoping to gain from this experience at the TalentOn?
Yeah, I think it's very much connected with what I was saying. Yes, because in this occasion we are here and we are people from all over not only Europe but the world. Yes. And we're actually working on something together, and we have very different backgrounds. In my team, where we have all different backgrounds from social science to from all over. So. the thing I would like to bring with me is this cooperation and this co-creation of solutions that can be for everybody, and they should be for everybody. And create. I think we're all here to create a better future. So that's what we aim at.
Yes. Well, that's all my questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Really lovely to talk to you. And I would like to wish you the very best over the next few days.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we're now going to switch to another interviewee. Yeah. You can come on in. So we have Michaela.
Hi.
Hi, Michaela. Thank you for joining us. Michaela is working on the mission of cancer. So, Michaela, if you would like to also introduce yourself.
For sure. So, I am originally from Slovakia, but I live in Czechia. And my mother is also from the Czech Republic, so I always wanted to move in the Czechia and start living there again.
Yes.
So I am from Michalovce, a small town nearly in Ukrainian borders. And so I moved into the Brno, and Brno is for me amazing city because I think the Brno is future of the science, because I don't know if you know Johann Gregor Mendel. He proposed genetic laws.
Okay.
So I think there is the future in the Brno of the old genetics, of the cancer research and everything. So I am studying in Central European Institute of Technology. And here I'm studying my PhD. I am now in the second year of this study. And I'm focused on the nanotechnology. So I am trying to come up with the new possible way of the treatment, but also of the diagnosis of the cancer.
Okay, great. And I know that you find open science very important.
For sure.
Close to you. So could you ask me why? Why?
I don't know if it is because I am from Slovakia and I live in Czechia, but there is a big problem of the open science. And I think it is a mindset across the Europe maybe, that we don't want to share data and we want to be original in everything. But I think that when we start to collaborate, we maybe somehow came up with an excellent idea, and we can solve the bigger problems and bigger issues than we have solving in our small labs. So this is my idea why we must share everything and start to collaborate. And this is why I wanted to apply it here, because I found an amazing scientist here. My team group members are amazing. So
that's great to hear. Yeah, it really is. I think we can see a common theme in these interviews that I've been doing, and really collaboration and sharing, that's a big one.
For sure.
And also talking about sharing science, moving towards really to the general public, to people who maybe haven't really don't know a lot about science. You do a lot of, you have your own Instagram account,
Yes,
I think?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, great. So you popularize science. So can you tell me a little bit more about how you got into that, and maybe the lessons that you've learned about outreach through your own experience?
I think the whole idea about my Instagram account came because of the COVID pandemic situation. Because there was a lot, and there is still a lot of fake news, and I don't know why. And I don't know why still scientists believe in this fake news. So this is why I want to bring the normal public, but also the scientists, the right way and the right news about what is about COVID. So I wanted to bring them closer, all the nanotechnology science. So what are really these nanoparticles? What do in body, and this was the whole idea, how to pursue them, that we are not doing anything bad to them in this way.
And from this then, from what you've been doing, would you also encourage other scientists,
For sure.
people from, of course, other disciplines to try out new ways of outreach?
Yeah, I am just only in my second year of the PhD, but I have already 4 students, 2 masters and 2 bachelors.
Wow.
And I love to work with them. I am fully motivated to pursue them to stay in science. And I know there is problem with the money and so on, but if you're passionate in this science, you can do it. whatever he takes.
Really, really nice final remarks. So that's all my questions for you. I would like to thank you very much as well.
Thank you too.
So that's it for a short. We're going to be just taking a short break, and we'll be back soon. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.